Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video on bind runes, amulets, and modifications, all runic in nature from the Elder Futhark. Uh, let's start with this would be considered an amulet, and it's the rune for Fehu, which represents literally it translates to possessions, but in actuality it's a kind of mobile property, mobile gain. One can compare it to cattle or the aurochs of the ancient Norse homeland that they used to either pursue or herd so that they could have hides from them, have meat from them, have milk from them. But mainly those things gave them their own sense of value and property in the ability to trade those things for other things. Next, let's talk about make a quick video on this augmentation that I have. Now this is an augmentation that deals with three runes I have on here, and it's basically symmetrical. There's one on the top, one on the bottom, one on the side, and one on the side, and one in the middle. Now I'd like for somebody to try to figure out what this is, but the meaning behind it actually. But basically, there's two strength runes on either side, and they're called urus. And then there's one flow rune on the top and the bottom, and they're reversed. And there's one rune for Hegals, which is the rune for both liberation and kind of the mother rune of all the runes, liberation and primal seed. That really means it has the potential to produce all the other forces within it. It's where we get the letter H, but it's Hegals, and it's kind of at the center. Now I put this on a weightlifting bar that I have that's 45 pounds, and it's basically I devised this bind rune in order to give me strength while I'm lifting weights. And I have some other symbols in here that I'd like to get to. Oh, and by the way, these necklaces I have a whole bunch of them. There's all kinds of runes on them. I got a Volknot. I got even ones that aren't part of Ace of True or the Elder Futhark. I have a sigil for Michael, a bronze sigil. I have like I said, the Volknot. But then I have some Hindu symbols. I'm actually Hindu, but I study other paths. I consider myself a practitioner of Vodou or Vodou, and I also practice different forms of magic. And mainly, I consider myself a Hindu, but I delve into all these systems. Try to learn as much as I can about what is and how God operates, how God divides himself when we start the sphere beyond creation and go down, how he divides himself and how he exists and all that is. But let's go to the sigil for Thor, which is the main Asatru or Northern European religious reconstructionist at this time, but religious god that I look up to, and he is basically the god of true strength, true willpower, and he constantly battles the forces of destruction. These are all metaphors, these are all analogies, but I view him as a conscious force that is always fighting the destructive forces of the Jotun, the giants, the destructive forces that want to bring everything back into the void as soon as possible. He's an agent of preservation, kind of like Vishnu in Hinduism, but he's the main one I recognize. And I have his sigil right here on my rack, on my cage. And then I have a bind rune that I composed myself, just like the one on my bar, and that is this one right here. And basically what you have a rune of separation. That's a literal translation, but it's called Othila, and it represents immobile property. In a way, this house, this area where I lift weights, is also mobile property. And in this mobile property, I have things that I practice, and of course the weight room, which I gain strength from. And that's why I put the the rune for strength, Urus, in the center. I find strength through immobile property, and then Fehu, which is turned on its side. You can combine these bind runes so that they might not be necessarily upright, but their reverse and their pattern, it basically determines what the message is and what it represents. It basically gives you strength in that way if you truly understand it. As you look at it and you are aware of its presence, it has an impact on your consciousness. So this is Fehu on the top, and this is immobile property, and this is kind of above the strength that I have from immobile property. And I put Fehu on the top, immobile property. This is mobile, Othila. This is mobile, Fehu. And I kind of put that on top because it's a higher form of property. It's a higher understanding. But that has given me great strength in my workouts. Ever since I had it there, I feel stronger. And same with the augmentation on the bar that I have. It's actually helped me run these ideas around in my brain, given me inspiration where there might not have been some earlier, but also I feel an effect on my consciousness to the extent that it affects my body. The symbols themselves do have power. They do have an effect that doesn't necessarily require you to think about them, but even just the psychological effect has been remarkable. So basically, that's all the symbols that I have in this room. But I mean, you can augment anything for any purpose. You can augment your car. There's a practice of Vodou where you make a kind of a magic bag of different ingredients and different symbols that are supposed to interact and create a source of power within your car, so that you're safe and you don't get in any trouble, and you feel secure there. I completely forget what the bag is called now. I call it a magic bag in Vodou, but it might be a mojo bag. Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I have one in my car. I think of it as a magic bag. And I have several combinations of ingredients and symbols throughout my house and my property, or wherever I go. I always have some kind of necklace that helps me think about that particular idea for that day, and it gives me strength because it's part of my consciousness at that point. I would highly recommend getting necklaces with different symbols, with different properties. I like bronze. Bronze I have a strong connection with. Whatever's on it, bronze feels like that's the stage that is closest to me. Of course, you have copper/bronze, and then you have silver, and then you have gold. Gold being the highest, being the element that is supposed to represent enlightenment. I feel like I'm kind of at a lower stage. I haven't learned enough, still trying to learn. That's why I'm working in multiple systems to gather that knowledge, gather that understanding. And really that's why I do everything that I do, so that I can increase my knowledge, increase my wisdom, increase my ability to alter my state of consciousness, so that I'm not in the materialistic plane in the way a lot of people are, so that I don't feel the pains of it, I don't feel the needs of it. But that's kind of how I do all this, and I'll be making a video pretty soon. This is just the third video that I got, but thanks for watching. I will see you soon.